So what is up, Africana fam? Going straight into my get ready with me for my birthday. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my wig. I do have a deep wave wig from my hair collection, and I have it in 26 inches, and the frontal is a 20 inch. So right now I'm just using my hot comb and my comb just to part out my part. I'm going for a zigzag type of part. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do each zig or zag, I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna do each zigzag and then use my hot comb just to flatten it out, just to see if, like, that's where I want to see placed at. And this is how the part look like, y'all. Alright, so for the look that I'm going to go ahead and do, I want some green highlights, so we're going to bleach the hair first. And I'm starting in the back, and I'm only just using like two back highlights. So I'm using about 3 scoops of my Clairol Basic White bleach powder, and then I'm going to go in with my Clairol 30 Volume Developer. And I'm going to go ahead and mix it up with my whisk inside of a mixing bowl. And you just want to make sure you have a nice runny type consistency. Not too runny, but not too thick either. And again, like I said, I just parted a couple of tracks in the back, and I'm only doing 2 highlights. And I'm just going to go ahead and just, randomly pick out a piece and make sure that the 2 highlight pieces are, in between black pieces. So it's almost giving like a piano effect in a sense. You don't want your highlights right next to each other. So I'm just going to go ahead and brush out the hair to make sure it's nice and, detangled, so that the bleach could be able to bleach and take to the hair evenly. And now I'm gonna go in with the bleach and also a bleaching brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just paint that on to the hair. And I'm gonna comb the hair just to make sure that the bleach is nice and saturated. So let me tell y'all, it's been a couple of days after my birthday, but your girl just turned 24 on the 23rd. So yes, your girl is a Aqua babe. January 23rd, what up? Let me comment down below if you guys are Aquariuses or if you are my birthday twin. Go ahead and comment that down below. But yeah, you guys, I enjoy my birthday so much. It was so much fun, like just being around loved ones and just being showered with love. Like I just feel so thankful and blessed, to be honest, just to be around, like, my family, my friends, and everyone's just alive and well. So I just pray that my 24th, God make it great. 23 was a great year. 24 may even be better, So I'm just super thankful. And throughout the entire duration of this video, I'm going to be sharing some things that I personally learned about myself during my 23 years of age. Well, just the year 23, actually. But yeah, just things I've learned about myself and how I've grown as a 23-year-old transitioning into a 24-year-old. So stay tuned for some gems I'm about to drop, okay? So now that the back is done, I'm going to go ahead and go into the front, and I'm going to be doing some highlights near the part of, the frontal area. So for the left side of the part, which is like, where it's less hair, I'm going to go ahead and take a pretty big chunk of the hair in the front of the hairline, and I'm just going to go ahead and just bleach that area. And you just want to make sure when you're doing the highlights that you're doing it in, like, different areas and they're not like aligned, so that it doesn't look too fixed. So I went ahead and did that on the edge of the frontal. And now I'm going to go ahead and go on the other side and take a chunk in the middle section of the part. Again, I don't want the highlights to be aligned. So it's going to be one at the edge and then one at the middle. Now on the same side, but on the edge of the frontal, I'm going to go ahead and apply some bleach. I didn't do that many highlights overall. I did about 5 to 6 highlights throughout the entire wig. I didn't want too much green. I just wanted, you know, little pieces of green in areas that it would show the most. So it would look like it's a lot of green highlights, but it's really not. So that's just my trick of doing like lazy highlights, just doing it in areas that it's showing the most. So it look like you have a bunch of highlights, but it's not. So say for example with the back, when you put your hair to the front, you can see those highlights in the back as well as the front. And I let the bleach sit for about 30 minutes and I just rinsed it out and shampooed it but not conditioned it. So now that that's done, I'm going to go in with my Adore Emerald Green Semi-Permanent hair color and some warm water in a cup. And I'm going to go ahead and pour some of that dye and then mix it with the Kiss Temptation in the color Hunter Green. And I'm using my comb just to mix up the mixture so that there's no dye flying around in the water. And I'm just going to go ahead and watercolor this bad boy. I did not feel like hand painting at all. You know, work smarter, not harder, y'all. So I just went ahead and just kind of watercolored it. I do have a bucket at the bottom of me just in case of like when the hair is falling, it can fall into the bucket and not onto my floor, okay? So make sure you have a bucket directly under you and under your mannequin head. So I'm just dipping in, you know, water dyeing the hair in the areas that I bleached, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, work smarter, not harder. So if you have some highlights and you want to color them, you can do this method. It's a lot faster than just hand painting it. Alright, so it's now party time, y'all. It's the day of the event, and I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my install. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut some slits in the front near the temple area, just so I could, you know, stretch the wig when I'm applying it. And I'm gonna go ahead and just, you know, shift that wig back. I'm now going in with my Erica J Hold Me Down Skin Guard. I'm going to spray that along my hairline and let that dry off before I apply that adhesive. Now the adhesive we're going to go ahead and use is the Erica J Hold Me Down adhesive, and this is the watermelon one. And I'm going to go ahead and just apply this all over my hairline, and I'm doing 2 layers of glue. And I just like to use my rat tail comb just to, you know, smear out that glue so it's nice and even. And I'm going to let that dry clear before I apply the second layer. So yeah, I just wanted to put y'all on to game because I just feel like this is something that just needs to be said. But you know, I just want to share my little testimony about just being 23 and like what I've learned while being 23. So Honestly, y'all, 23 has taught me so much just about myself. I know, cliche. Every year it teaches more about yourself, but I would say more of the positives than I would the negatives. I feel like 23 was the year of me really doing shadow work and just really trying to heal myself from like previous traumas that I've thought that weren't traumas, or just learning to heal myself and love myself even more. Like I feel like 23 was a year of just being like initiative, like taking control of my life, and like just knowing that like you have more control of your story than you think. So what I mean by that is just like a lot of us, we tend to play victim and like, we just take whatever is thrown at us. But I feel like I've really changed the narrative in regards of doing that. And I've taken what has been thrown at me, but I switched the narrative and changed what was thrown at me for the better and not for the worse. And once I just shifted my mindset from, oh my gosh, I have this problem, to hey, how do we fix this problem? What's the solution to this problem? Like, I promise y'all, my life has gotten better, like 110,000% better, to be honest, y'all. Like, life is all about perspective, and I feel like you are the narrator of your story. Don't let nobody else tell your story but you. So if you want that story to be juicy, make it juicy. Anybody gonna make your story juicy than you. Anybody gonna make your story sound luxurious but you. So I have just learned to just pray about it and understanding that God is going to handle the spiritual aspect as long as I take control of the physical aspect. And that's just me and my life and me taking initiative. Nothing is ever too far-fetched in life, and also just understanding that I am in control of my story and no one else is. So now that the second layer is dry, it's on and popping now. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the wig right in front of the glue. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start from the middle first and then go on my sides and then just press down my wig against the adhesive just so it can stick. I'm now going to go into my eyebrow razor and I'm going to razor off the excess lace that I have. And you want to make sure that you're cutting in a jagged motion and as close to your hairline as possible. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just, fill in any gaps or any lace that I've missed. And I'm going to go ahead and use the glue and use 2 layers of glue and outline the hairline that I had already cut off. And then just stick on the lace onto the glue once it's completely dry. Now, another thing I've learned about myself while being 23, as we're going into new age of 24, is really how beautiful I am. Like, that sounds really crazy, like saying it out loud, but it's true. Like, I've really noticed how beautiful I am, like in and out, I just look at myself, like sometimes like I be having these moments where I just look at myself from like another person's lens. It's so weird. It's like I kind of like dissociate myself into another body and just look at myself. But no, really though, like I really like noticed how beautiful I am. And like that's hard to say because for years, y'all, like I've just kind of like suffered from like low self-esteem and just not really necessarily knowing my worth and how beautiful I really was. And, looking back now, I just realized how beautiful I really was. And it's like, yo, why couldn't I see that? But when you're not in the right mental space, like a lot of things look like illusions. So this year I've really like looked at myself and I admired myself. Like, wow, Vivian, you're really beautiful. Like, yo, I be catching myself just looking at my videos just in awe. Like, wow, like you're really that girl. And you know what? I wouldn't say I would like dissociate myself and put myself in another body, but I would kind of just, I guess, my inner child or just my inner self or like my old self from like 3, 4 years ago, I will look at myself from those lenses, and just coming from a place where it's just like you feel so low about yourself to now looking at myself is like, wow, like you're really that girl, like you're doing it, like you got all these things going on for yourself, you're beautiful, you know how to, like, you're learning how to be a better friend, you learn how to be a better family member, like you're doing all these things that you once prayed for, and it's like, wow, like I'm really living in the moment. And like I feel like those, like that, I struggle with that too, is like living in the moment and noticing like I'm at the position where I used to pray for and now I'm here. So just taking the time to just really live in the moment and just understand like, yo, like you're really that girl, and you're gonna be even the girl when you get older and just evolve as a person. So it's just super dope to see myself transform. Like I'm really like a butterfly. So now I'm going to go ahead and start parting out my baby hairs. And I'm just using my comb just to part out my baby hairs. And I'm just hot combing the hairline one more time just to make sure it's nice and flat. Now I'm going to go in with my Chi hairspray, and the level of the hairspray in regards of its hold is on 4. And I'm going to apply that on my hairline just to melt that lace in. And after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and use my elastic band and tie my hairline around it. And I'm going to let that sit for about 15 minutes. The 15 minutes is now up, and I went ahead and took it off, and as you guys can see, it is melted, baby. Alright, y'all, now on to the baby hairs. We're going to go ahead and use the eyebrow razor and just cut out baby hairs. I am cutting my baby hairs a little bit longer than usual. That's because I'm going to go ahead and curl it a little bit too, doing the American Tay method in regards to the baby hairs. So I did cut it a little bit longer just in case, because, the last thing I ever want to do is kind of burn my forehead because I got Paisley hair. It's not a go. So I'd rather just cut it afterwards when I finish curling it and stuff. So I just did that all around the hairline. And now I'm going in with my Tervix flat iron. This is the 3/4 or 1/3 flat iron. 1/3 flat iron. And I'm just going to go ahead and curl my hair or my baby hairs upwards. Just get that curly effect. And now I'm going to be applying my Bold Hold Liquid Gold on the roots, which is the gel, and then my Nairobi setting lotion on the rest of the hair. And I actually really like this method because sometimes when I just use the mousse by itself, like the hair just be flying everywhere. And I just wanted it to be fluffy still, but for it to stay down. And like me applying the gel on just the roots only, and then the mousse on the rest of the hair just helped it really just slick it down. And I'm just using my baby hair comb just to play around with it. Go ahead and just play around with that as much as you can until you get like your desired look. And if you have to cut it later on, then just wait for it to dry and you'll cut it off. And I just did the same exact process all over the baby hairs. Now, another thing that I've learned about myself in the age of 23 is how to be a better friend, y'all. And it sounds crazy, like, oh, like you're not a good friend, and it's like, no, we're all good friends, but there's certain things that, well, I wouldn't say we all good friends, but um there's just certain things that I just needed to tweak up on myself, in regards of like pouring into my friends and loving on my friends. And I feel like last year, the age of 23, I've really like dedicated time to really just, pour into my friends. And I feel like this is why like 24 was such a great, like the best birthday I ever had, because it's like, not saying that I'm looking for benefits to reap from, but it's like I deliberately spent my time pouring into my friends. Like I even made it a goal, like, yo, for my every single friend, I have a lot of friends, y'all. Every single friend that I have, I am going to go all out for their birthday. Like that was just one of my goals last year, and I did. And like that's what got reciprocated back onto me for my 24th, And I'm not saying that I was doing that for my 24th birthday, but I noticed like, yo, my friends was there for me at my lowest of the lows, So why am I not pouring back into them the way that I need to be doing, And like I have the means to do so. So why am I not doing that? And I also apply the same rule of thumb with my family as well too. But overall, just loving on the people that love you back, just learning how to just pour into people that pour onto you. Like relationships are not one-sided. It's work. You got to put in the work for it if you want it to work. And as long as the two parties are putting effort into it, why wouldn't you not put effort, So I just really learning that about myself and just learning how to be a better friend and a sister and a daughter, everything. I still got stuff to work on, of course, but I feel like I've done a phenomenal job at just being, intentional and deliberately trying to be a better person to my loved ones. So now that I'm done super dumb things, I'm gonna go ahead and with my BioSilk serum, and I'm gonna apply that around my hair a little bit just to give it some shine, But yeah, I'm also going to go in with my Chi Lava wand, and I'm gonna just curl certain parts, especially the top part, because I know where I dyed it at, it's a little bit like, looser than the rest of the hair pattern. So, I'm just gonna go in and just, curl them things. So I'm just picking just random spots, mostly just the front area, just to kind of curl it. And I kind of just kind of run my fingers through it, not too much, but just a little bit, just so like the curl doesn't look too defined and it matches in with the rest of the curls. And this just went perfectly. It just made my hair pop a little bit more, and also the color green pop a little bit more as well too. All right, babes, now on to the birthday makeup. This is where the glam is starting to come together and to form. I'm going to go in with my Lancome Tinted Idol foundation in the color 560, and also my Uma Beauty foundation in the color T2C. I'm just going to go ahead and use my Instant Pot brush just to pat that foundation in, and then also my little one as well. And as you guys can see, I'm just kind of lifting my baby hairs so that I could get the foundation all over the place and not just like surrounding the baby hairs, because that's gonna look a little bit crazy. So yeah, y'all, just when it's dry, when the baby hairs are dry, just lift it up a little bit, as you guys can see. That's what I am doing right now. And just, apply some foundation over there so everything could just match. Now I'm going in with my Maybelline Age Rewind concealer in the color Deep Bronze. I'm just going to be highlighting my face. And I just like to go back into my foundation brush and just diffuse those harsh lines in between the foundation and the concealer so they can marry each other. And then I'm going to go into my Morphe G2 brush just to buff out that concealer, y'all. And now on to eyeshadow. I'm going to use my Congo foundation stick. And I'm just going to go apply that on my eyelids and then use a fluffy brush just to diffuse it and pat it in so it's nice and even. And then I'll be going into my Laura Mercier powder in the color medium deep, and I'm just going to apply that in the areas that I went ahead and highlighted. All right, y'all. So let me share another gem with you guys, since we're sharing, sharing is caring. But another thing that I've learned about myself during 23 is learning how to be intentional, y'all. And listen, if y'all can ask any of my friends, like, this is like the main thing I preach every single blessed day. I promise you, be intentional. Be intentional. Why are you talking to him? Be intentional. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, being intentional, it should be tattooed across my forehead. Like, that's how much I say it. But I also really try to live by it. I be having some slip ups sometimes, but, it, like, God never failed to remind me, like, this is what you said, right? Continue to do it. Practice what you preach. Because, like they say, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So being intentional, again, just doing the shadow work, learning about yourself, learning a couple of things about yourself that, that's not necessarily good that you need to fix. So when you finally get that thing that you finally prayed for, that was for you because that's exactly what you pray for. So again, like, being intentional, being very specific, being very bougie with yourself and your energy. Like, not everybody deserves your energy to even talk to you, especially me. Like, do y'all see me? Come on, get out of here, man. But like, just learning that, like, it's okay to not, associate with certain people, or just learning to be intentional, just intentional with your energy, intentional with your day. Like, it just weeds out, like, poor experiences that you, like, I guess, get to experience. Like, you weed out the amount of poor experiences that you get. Granted, there are certain things that we just cannot control, and sometimes God throw it at us for character development. I don't know why. Ask him, but sometimes he do that. But nevertheless, when you sit down there and you be intentional, it's not that much efforty that you go through than when you're not being intentional. You're just going with the flow, So being intentional with just everything in regards of dating life, in regards of just, what am I about to eat today? Being intuitive and being intentional is like my number one thing. And I feel like it made me a healthier person, not just only health wise, but mentally as well too. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just wipe off the excess powder that's on my face. And I did go in with the Juvia's Place bronzer, the darkest shade, and I just popped that onto my eyelid as well, on top of the Congo base, just to give it that brown effect. All right, I got one more gem for y'all, and then I'm done. Boo-hoo, I'm so sad, I know. But the last gem that I have that I've learned in the year of 23 is rest. As simple as it sounds, it's not as simple. But please, y'all, please rest. I'm telling you, rest has made me a less irritable person. And I take my rest very seriously, you guys. Like, granted, I like to work and stuff, but listen, God did not bring us on this rock to come, this floating rock to come and just work and not rest. I'm all here for the hustle and bustle and stuff, but a girl gets tired. And you should treat yourself. Rest, please. Like, you should be taking your rest more seriously than your actual work days, because restoration is what helps you get up. How can you sit down there and work if you are gone? Like, make it make sense, y'all. Like, I've taken my rest very seriously. After every series, y'all, I take like a whole month hiatus, and I don't give a damn, because my art is sacred, very sacred to me, and I'm gonna work when I feel like working. Granted, a lot of people don't have that luxury and stuff, but even too, if you have accumulated PTO, go ahead and take your time off and go ahead and spoil yourself. Life is too short. The last thing you ever want to do is overwork yourself into an early grave. So I beg, please rest. But that is it, y'all. I went ahead and applied some lip gloss and some, lip liner. And I'm going to go ahead and just spray my face with my Morphe Continuous Spray. All right, y'all. So now we're going to go ahead and comb out these crunchy ass baby hairs. Y'all already know I don't like my baby hairs crunchy at all. It just doesn't give what it's supposed to have gave. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and comb out our baby hairs with my baby hair comb. And as you guys can see, it's looking nice and fluffy and juicy like how I like. And, I'm just going to go ahead and just cut in the areas that I need to cut at, if it's a little bit too long. Like I said, we can't glue back on here. So if I had cut too much hair off, it would have been game over for me. But yeah, so I'm just playing around with it, kind of shaping the hair, making sure it's nice and, defined. And, the baby hair is just swooping how it's supposed to be swooping. And now I'm just going in with my eyebrow razor and I'm just kind of cutting off those little pieces of hair. Yeah, I wanted those two like opposite swoops to kind of connect together somehow, some way. So yeah, it look a little crazy right now, but we're gonna get it together and it's gonna look good. And now I'm just using some concealer, my concealer brush, just to define that part, y'all. And we are pretty much done. Oh my gosh. This is how 24 is supposed to look, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. I look sexy per usual. But yeah, I look so good for my 24th birthday. I enjoyed my time with my friends, my loved ones, and I just look so good, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all the fit that I wore too, just to throw that in there. So stay tuned, don't leave yet. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe to my channel, comment down below if you want to see some more video like this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.